is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that is Let's Talk Football. And ladies and gentlemen, you know what day it is. It's Wednesday. Happy Hump Day! If it's Wednesday, it's Washington Football Weekly. So you know I'm with my guy. You know I'm with my guy from way down in South Carolina. South Carolina's finest, Will Kramer. What up, Will?
What's going on, man? Do you know what today is?
Oh, talk to me, man.
It's Wednesday, and we're talking about a victory, man.
Let's go.
I don't know if you got a chance to celebrate Victory Monday with Janae. I didn't get a chance to listen to the show just yet, but I mean, we're going to have Victory Wednesday together.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I held it down. Okay, I held it down. And there's going to be a little clip played a little bit later because I did get excited, okay, because Victory Monday was also Overreaction Monday, and we overreacted about how they're not going to win another game.
Jeez.
Yo, and I said something about us, but we will definitely get into that. Shout out to Andrew saying he's first. He's in the crowd. Appreciate you, buddy.
Every time.
That's right. Welcome to Washington Football Weekly, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, like my guy alluded to, we are happy this week. 1 week in the books. And while it might not be the Super Bowl, we are daggone excited about it, man.
Yes,
Let's go. Yo, but before I get started, want to do something. I don't normally do this, but I definitely want to do it. We have a lot of shows that we've been doing, and it seems to be every other night, and we just had a new one that started up. Let's Talk Football, NFC South Takeover with Kyle Gacy. Andrew's on that show. Nicole, a new member of the LTF family, is on there, and we're looking for a Panther, so definitely get in there. But a lot of people ask, what are you doing? How do you do it? Blah, 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 blah. All I can tell you is this. A great man, Mr. G.W. Urban, told me one time, the worrying is worse than the doing. Sometimes you just have to go out there, take that step on faith, go out and do it. And if you don't worry about it, okay? The more you worry about it, the more time you're taking away from how successful it could be. All right? So keep moving, keep going. And speaking of a team that didn't worry about struggling and fighting through, our Washington Commanders beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 28-22. Will, talk to me, man. I'm just so excited about this.
It was fun, man. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of excitement at the stadium. I heard that the stadium was 86% capacity, which for Washington standards is pretty good.
Big. Yeah,
I think that was midway from what I saw in among all 32 teams.
Yeah.
Or I guess half of them are hosting, but they were like midway through. So that's not bad. That's not bad for the fact that, we've had some really bad crowds in the past. But I think there was a lot of excitement.
Yes.
Two of our guys were there. Ab was there. Anton was there. They're season ticket holders. People are excited. They want to see. This was a debut of a new franchise.
Yeah.
You can tie all the stuff in that you want to, but you have created a new brand. This is a new franchise. This is an expansion opportunity. And this was your first crack at things really, really counting.
Yeah.
And people were ready to be loud and see excitement.
Yes.
And they got it. And then it dulled, and then they got it again.
Right.
So it was important. It was good for them.
Oh yeah. And you know what? And like you said, 86% capacity. This is going from a year ago where I was there, and it was a sea of blue. It was all Chargers fans, and when they started chants in the stadium a year ago, and you can hear them clearly. It wasn't us. It was nothing that we were doing. So to see this and to see a majority of Washington fans, and like you said, when we were scoring, we got up early, that crowd was a factor. Mm-hmm. And later in the game, when we, scored, not to go too deep into it, but later in the game, when we came back to win, to take the lead, the crowd was electric. That is what we want. That's the connection. Because if you win or if you play good football, the crowd will respond to that. And hey, I'm absolutely loving it. Oh man, I have to stop myself and just post this comment. How? Oh, how's he first? No, don't worry about that. While you're here, you want to talk about how
are we going to play better than we did on Sunday night?
How? Come on, ass. Let's go. You know what it is. Look, But yes, so to that point, the stadium was lit. Our guys were definitely there. Ash, don't leave. Don't leave, Ash. Come on, don't leave. Yo, definitely it was packed. It was jam-packed. And we played accordingly. That was something you wanted to see, to your point. Okay? Expansion team, new quarterback. You know, got some guys back that we have not seen in a while. You know, Logan Thomas played this year. We didn't get a chance to see him last year. Samuel, good gracious. I mean, there are points in this game where nobody on the field can stop him. You know, he was doing it. So I am super excited for the potential. Okay. This is Wednesday. It's not Monday. You saw we did Monday or Overreaction Monday. So we're not going to dive down that far yet. But Will, I'm just excited because there was a number of positives, Will. There are a number of things that we can build on, man. And let's go ahead and go right there, man. Let's start with the positives. What are some things that you saw that you liked that we can move on down the year with?
Okay. Do we start with the big one?
Oh, might as well.
I mean, come on.
Come on now.
All right.
Come on. Yes.
Over 300 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. And not only that, when the game was on the line, he had a chance to either play safe or go for it.
I like that.
And he's got the cojones.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm just going to let my receiver make a play.
Yeah.
And we went from, and that was huge because, you know, knowing that Jacksonville was going to get the ball back, and it was now you have to score a touchdown. That's the Carson Wentz. And as you said, he had not 1, not 2,
come on with it,
not 3, but 4 touchdown passes. That's not stuff we see in DC very often. No, it's not. So that was exciting. It was a good debut for him. He started off high, fell down pretty far, but bounced back really well.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of his main targets is in fact, his first target, a guy that we talked about just a minute ago, the guy that had been injured all last year, Curtis Samuel. And let me tell you, what a difference a year makes. Curtis Samuel looked absolutely amazing. And I mean, it shows just by that first catch. First catch, catches it, boom, gets the first down. I think the second or third catch, he caught it. He was stopped 3 or 4 yards behind, turns around, makes a move, and gets the first down. He did that 3 or 4 times. And in fact, if I'm not mistaken, he was also the first one of our players to run the ball.
Yeah, would not have gotten that prop bet correct on the season if I had bet. Nah, I never would have said Curtis Samuel first handoff of the game.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I was so excited to see it. And what you saw that did is it opened up opportunities for other players on the field. There was some wide open guys running around the field. And I think it started with Curtis Samuel. And I'm telling you, I've told you this a lot. Curtis Samuel, to me, is kind of our version of, you know, maybe a poor man's Deebo Samuel. I mean, if you look at some of the things that he does and some of the ways that they run him in motion, and they do a lot of stuff off of him, either dummy fakes, the one where we had the reverse, which ended up getting like a 10-yard loss to Dotson. The initial play was them running like a little an option route to Curtis Samuel. Yes. That's something that it's threatening because we have a quarterback that can move, and now you got Samuel who is electric. So that's something I loved. I'm absolutely excited for that. But what else was exciting for you in this one?
So it's kind of going off the Curtis Samuel stuff there, because like you said, he brought out some of the the best in other players, and I'm going to get into it in just a second because I wanted to talk about Kat's comment here. Sean Spencer is excited for the return of football. When on the second play of the game, I received a phone call saying, Will, he overthrew the guy. He was wide open. He overthrew the guy. And I was like, first off, I just saw the throw. So clearly you are ahead of me by 30 seconds. And then I'm like, it's the second play of the game. It's going to be a long 3 hours, Kat, if he's getting blown up at the second play like this and the first overthrow. But you get to see how excited you were for the return, which is awesome. So I love the phone call, but then most importantly, I was like, no, don't ruin what's happening because I haven't seen that play.
And I talked to Kat about about that. She was like, well, why'd you get off? I was like, because he's behind me. I gotta wait to hold on. But look, I'm gonna tell you, I started the game sitting down, and Kat could confirm this. I think it literally took the kickoff, and then I was already up and on the floor and up in front of the TV. What are you doing? Come on.
Yep,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But look, I'm not gonna lie. At that second pass, the first thing I thought, the last guy that we got this excited about for as a legitimate quarterback that we got from another team, I thought Donovan McNabb those years back. And you remember his first pass was way over the head of the tight end. I don't know if you can remember that far, but his first pass was way over the head. And I remember sitting there thinking, oh, no, dude, do not give me this. An ex-Eagles quarterback overthrowing a receiver. So I called you. You were the only person I knew to call. I was like, I got to talk to Will. I got to tell Will what's going on.
That's too funny. That is so funny. Man. You're like, not again. Not
this again. we out. Yeah. So get back to positive. Talk to me.
So with Curtis Samuel being used so versatile, it also allowed another player to get used in multiple ways, and that was Antonio Gibson, a guy who we weren't sure what was going to happen with him. We thought that when come preseason he had lost his starting role as running back, and then the injury, so he's back. But like you said, Gibson wasn't featured as a runner for a majority of the game, but he was used in the passing game, and he was very effective. And overall, he had over 20 touches and 104 yards from scrimmage, 70 of those in passing, short plays. On that first drive, you saw that play where he lined up and ran right past everyone and ran a little, route to the sideline, and Carson can hit him. And that throw was my Taylor Heineke can't make that throw moment.
Yep.
Like, this is the difference between the two and what you can do with Carson Wentz. So that was great. And then, Gibson ended up being, our bell cow as much as he got 14 carries, so he had the most carries, but he looked like a threat. And I think we're seeing here, he's still, at least for now, going to be our leading back, not lead back, but leading back.
Yeah.
But they're going to use him in the places that he can exploit the other team. And that's what I like, that they didn't go away from that game plan just because Brian Robinson's no longer playing right now.
Yeah. And I loved how Scott Turner used him, like you were saying. Like, I love that you have Samuel, you have McKissick. Like we said, McKissick got the first carry. You have, not McKissick, but Samuel got the first carry. You see these different guys going in, and that does something for your back. You know what I mean? If you're the lead guy and you know that there's nobody else behind you, the onus is on you. But if you have 2-3 guys and you're kind of doing different formations and not necessarily I form right up the gut, but maybe, a counter or something that's getting the defense off kilter, that helps a running back in his psyche. And, okay, I'm fine. Especially when you get him out out of the backfield. And that's what I thought they did really well, is that they threw to him first and then ran it to him. Yeah. Now you still have had the ball in your hands. You've made a football move. You've been out there. You've gotten hit. Now it's like, okay, cool. Okay. So when you're going in the middle, you're not getting that first boom, big hit, and the ball goes flying. And another part of that is something that's huge, and it goes with our running game, and it goes with everything we've been talking about with Carson and the receivers. He had time to throw the ball. We were sacked one time in this game, ladies and gentlemen. And I know the first thought you say is, you played the Jaguars. The Jaguars, Josh Allen on defense. The Jaguars have Trayvon Walker. Trayvon Walker, the number 1 draft pick on defense. All right. The Jaguars have pieces on that defense where they're not just slouches. These guys can play. And they showed that in the middle of the game. Mm-hmm. But that sack by Trayvon Walker was the only sack of the game. And we know the issues we've had with linemen coming in and out through preseason and up until now. I really was impressed by how they at least appeared to gel together and work together and, protect the quarterback, keep our running backs, somewhat clean until they get to the second level. I like that, man. We needed that, because that helps the offense tick,
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it was one of those things where you just didn't really notice as much, but that's a good thing that you weren't noticing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The other thing that I thought was a positive was our guy, Ab. We'll talk about how in previous years, Terry had to be used as a possession receiver because we needed someone who had the guts to run a slant, go over the middle, make the catch, make the tough play. Well, our guy torched the secondary. And he caught a perfect pass in stride, lit up the stadium, lit up the starting quarterback, got everyone's spirits going, and it was the perfect big play and the type of big play that we just have not had. And we got it.
Yeah. Big. Yeah. And it was needed. It was needed. And first of all, I'm going to take this to be a quick PSA. De'Ami Brown, you see what the starter does when he has a wide open pass down the sidelines? He catches it. Take notes.
Yeah.
I'm off that. All right. But no, I mean, you want to talk about right on time. And then you want to talk about things that we wouldn't normally do. A year ago, we played for the field goal. We tried to, dink and dunk down the field to get in the range to potentially give our kicker an opportunity. That was gutsy. That's a call that says, I want to win this game. Like I'm not trying to back down. And the timing of it. We were down. And not only that, you're coming from the first couple drives in that first half. We held them to 3 points in the first half. You know what I mean? That's a positive thing. Obviously we're going to talk about our defense, but that's definitely a positive thing. But to have them, we fumble the ball, throw 2 picks, and you could just tell, like Kat, you could attest to this in the comments. What was the first thing I said? I turned right to Kat and said, here we go again. Just like the phone call I made to you. Here we go again. But to have Carson and tall in the pocket, looking, pressure coming in, and puts it at the perfect spot at the perfect time. And then you just see, and there is a flip side because that was his only catch. It was one of his only catches of the game. But to have that right on time, right when it was necessary, and it's like you said, the crowd turned up. I'm shouting and yelling. My neighbors hate me. You know what I mean?
I started doing this window in front of the TV.
I was hyped. I was saying, let's go. What? Let's do it. And then the first thing. So after the first 2, I got to say this. After the first 2 touchdowns, I don't know if you noticed, but I got in the group chat and I started, how's your team doing? Oh, look at this, look at this. And then we started losing. And Kat was with me when I was texting, and she was like, see, you shouldn't have said anything. You should have. So the first thing I did, we scored. I went right to my phone, and she's like, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
I was like,
only positive. Put that down. Only text positive.
Put that down, right? But it was absolutely amazing and right on time. And then talk about lead by example. Your star does it. After he has not been getting the passes all game, he's been getting shut out. Doesn't Des Bryant it, doesn't complain, doesn't cry about it. When his time came, he was ready. Yeah. What does that show the young kid? The kid that got touchdown early, but knew the game was still in. We still had to keep making plays. He comes out and makes. Look, maybe I'm homer, maybe I'm biased, but one of the sweetest catches. Because when I saw the pass, I was like, oh, dang, he's not going to get it. And he kind of came up underneath and caught it. That's a big-time player in a big-time game. And look, Will, I think you were right. I think they were hiding him in the preseason because he was electric. Talk to me, man.
Yeah, well, and there was even another play. I saw a clip that Jahan, there was 2 receivers on the side. Carson threw to the underneath guy. He overthrew him for the end of a drive, a 3rd down. Jahan, I think, came in motion and then took off, and he burned his guy. So Jahan was open for a bigger play earlier in the game, and Carson just didn't see it. So, what a big debut by this guy. What did he catch the first touchdown of the game? No, was okay. Not the first.
No. Curtis caught the first one.
You're right. Yeah, he did.
Jahan caught the second one.
The second one, right? And it was a nice little play. Carson hit him on stride. It was a good route. As soon as he kind of fakes the right, turned left. Carson was like, whoop. So it was right there for him. He was the only one to be able to make a play. It was nice, and it was like. That was a crisp route. That's what they talk about with this guy. He makes when we say he's a mature player, we're talking about the fact that he runs precise routes and knows exactly where to be on the field.
Exactly. And
sets up other guys to get himself open, and he did that. Heck of a debut. I was right in my Nittany line friend down here too. The whole time I was like, "There's one," and then he shot me back, and another one at the end. We were excited about it.
Ooh, it feels good, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about our offense. An offense that has pretty much been pedestrian for the last several years, and it's been a while since we've really gotten somebody that took chances like we had. There was some times where he held the ball a little bit too long, but he took the necessary chances, and it paid off. Yeah. So week 1, I mean, obviously this is a great thing. Now, defense. I did want to say this about our defense. What I loved was and I talked to you about this, bend but don't break.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The first half we held them to 3 points. Now one of their field goals hit off the upright or whatever, but we still held them to 3 points. We were looking good. On the second half, when you have to play on short fields, sometimes you're having to deal with it. Sometimes they're able to score. I did not like that. I felt like we were still getting gassed in the running game. Robinson and ETN, when they got out of the backfield, they were running all over us. But, I honestly think even though they brought us back to our red zone, how many times did we shut down in the red zone and for the 2-point conversion? So when it mattered, our D played legitimate. Our D played together, and we needed it. I got to be positive about that.
Yes. Yeah, I feel the same way about Ben don't break with them. They gave up, less than 300 yards passing, a little more than 100. Yeah, there were some big runs there that we didn't like. I gashed a few times, but ultimately when it mattered, they made plays. Yeah. There were a couple standouts there. Your boy, Rick Doc Walker, okay? He coins the phrase chasing the bag. And this is Daron Payne's season that he's chasing the bag. Yep. And he made some plays. He made some plays to show that he needs to get that bag. He had a couple different batted balls on third down, key situations. Yep. There was definitely one, it was either him or Jonathan Allen batted one where I was like, when I saw the throw, the receiver looked open and I went, what happened on that play? How did that happen? Yeah. Didn't see that they deflected it as to why the play didn't get made. And he had a big sack at the end of the game. Daron Payne showed up. And that was big because, like I've been saying, earlier in the year, like if this defensive line doesn't improve, why would you sign all of them? Just because they're first round picks, you need to see something before you pay all these guys. It can't just be potential. Well, he showed for one game at the start of this season that he deserves to get paid, and maybe they can keep that unit together.
Oh yeah. I'm telling you, they were, in my opinion, they were thoroughly impressive because you look at, they were getting pressure. Between them, I think they had 4 or 5 QB hits. And then you talk about the pass deflections, which we talked about at the end of the year. He doesn't have this many sacks, or he's not, as good as Donald or this or that. But there's so many things that both of these guys, Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen, do that we talked about, all offseason, doesn't really get noticed. These deflected balls, others, if they're on the stat sheet, you're not understanding the emphasis, but the fact and the timing that we are making these deflections, the timing that we're stopping these plays, third down, or when they have guys that where maybe there's a blown coverage and we have, gotten in between that those are winning plays. Those plays don't get made, and hey, that defense, we're singing a different song. So I'm loving that. I'm absolutely loving that. Do you have anything else positive on the D?
I do. I'm going to give you a name, and then I would love to answer Kyle's question after that because it kind of goes with a positive that we had on Sunday. But the other guy that stood out to me on defense was Derek Forrest. Yeah. He had several pass breakups. He had that smack on Travis Etienne that basically said, "Hey, this ain't Clemson no more, kiddo."
There you go. Yep.
And I even thought that he got a personal foul that I thought was garbage. They called unnecessary roughness, but I felt the running back was lowering his head too. So when Forrest hit him with his shoulder and helmet, a little bit of helmet, I can't take that out, but the runner was also causing that head to get hit. Right, so I didn't like that, but that's what you're going to get from him. It happened in his first preseason game last year too. He thumped a guy and they said that he didn't give the receiver a chance to catch it, collect themselves before he hit him. So he's going to be physical out there, and that's big. And we'll get into a little bit more, but I like that. I very much like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's address this. Kyle Yates says, "Why does Washington have so much hate on Chase Young? Honestly, that guy is an absolute stud." Well,
do you want to take that, or do you want me to?
I'll give that to you right now.
So the problem that happened last year with Chase is he deviated from the scheme. And we found that by doing that, he would break contain in the pocket. There'd be holes in the pocket that would the quarterbacks would figure out. We faced a lot of veteran quarterbacks, and they would find holes to run to that Chase he was one of them. Him and Montez were the other ones. They kind of did their own thing. They freelanced a little bit too much out there. It's a little bit of you got to also work to your talent too. So I think we question sometimes the coaching on that, but there's times when they're like, you've got to stay and do what you're supposed to do and trust your other opponent, your teammate, that if I stay and do this, if I stand here and don't run out too far and open up a lane behind me, my guy Montez is going to beat his guy and he's going to get the sack.
Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, it's complementary football. You know what I mean? If you stay in your lanes, that's going to, like you said, it's going to help the guy over here. It's going to help the guy next to you or that linebacker that might be covering a certain area. You have to do kind of what the scheme is designed to do. I mean, a lot of times you look at a guy like a Chase Young, and it's like you said, he's an absolute stud. We all know what he was, our first pick. But at the same time, let's not forget, even in that struggle, even that first year that we won, where he won the Rookie of the Year, he only had 7.5 sacks. You know what I mean? He's doing his own thing, and when you're playing subpar competition, that succeeds. That's able to, make you look good and shine. And last year, you can't keep doing whatever on the defense, especially when you have defense with as many holes as we had. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, we'll see.
Great question.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, and we saw on Sunday, Sweat had a lot of quarterback pressures.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
He was doing that, and at times I saw Casey Toohill. He would start upfield and he would stop and use those big arms. I think Casey knocked a ball down too. So it's just kind of playing team ball like that.
Oh yeah.
Sir Big Spur. There you go.
There you go. The Godfather. Yeah, buddy. Appreciate you guys watching. Kyle, Johnny, Dean, Kat, Anthony, all you. Appreciate it. And right in time, because we're going to be realistic and talk about the negatives. We had some negatives. Yes, we know we won the game and we looked good early and we looked good late. But, there was that middle. There was that middle of the game. The fumbles. The 2 interceptions, including the one on that throwback screen to Anthony, your guy, Mr. Trayvon Walker. We made a great play on the ball, but still, it's a situation. Even the commentators were like, Carson, when you turn around, you look, that thing in your mind is going to say he's going to make that play. Or, pay attention. Maybe this is one of those, you see a bunch of it all over the weekend. Quarterbacks just throwing the ball in the dirt when they had a screen that was blown up. Yeah. Those are the differences between, people saying that, you have issues and not. Be safe with the ball. So, Will, what were your negatives? Offense, defense, let me know where you want to stand, where you want to start. But talk to me about some of your negatives in this game.
Yeah, so I'm going to start on defense. Yeah. We got fortunate on some plays. Yeah. Travis Etienne dropped a 4th down touchdown conversion. Early, I think it was in the first quarter, maybe when they went for it, that they called a good play and he just dropped it. So Jacksonville left some points out there, and we got saved by that. Also, Trevor Lawrence was inaccurate on some of his throws. He had some time to make some plays and he missed his receivers out there. Now that's going to happen in every game. Our guy did the same thing, but there was some exposure there. I texted you about a play where was it William Jackson bit on a juke or something, and either Lawrence didn't see it or he made a bad throw. I think it was
he made his
receiver too far on that one. That probably could have been 6 if it had been converted. So the defense did make some plays or leave some plays out there that could have been worse. The other one is there was some poor tackling at times on some runs. James Robinson, I think, was the recipient of 2 of these. One was early in the game where Bobby McCain, the hole opened up. He crashed in as a safety, and then he kind of got scared or he was weak out there. I'm trying to not use a worse word. And he didn't even make much of an effort to tackle the guy. And he allowed, Robinson to run off for a big game. And then on the touchdown run that Robinson had, our guy Cole Holcomb, he kind of just did this little oopsie daisy around him. And you let him go, and they kind of let him walk into the end zone. So they didn't even try and stop him or hold him there on that play. So I did not like that part of stuff.
Yeah, no. And to your point about, our secondary, one of the things that is huge to me, and one of the things, any level of football you learn, you don't get beat deep. There was a number of, you talk about that one where it was just out over his outstretched hands. There was a couple to, be it Kirk or Robinson, where they're getting behind the defenders, and we might be there to make the tackle, but this scares you because if we're talking about premier wide receivers, they're torching you down the field. You're not going to get that opportunity. You mentioned the drops, and it's like we cannot rely on that and expect to be successful throughout the year. So that's something that definitely rubbed me the wrong way, allowing him to get deep. And then, hey, you talked about the linebackers. Look, Holcomb, Jamin Davis, we've been talking about we need to see something out of them. But like I mentioned earlier, man, we were getting gashed. I mean, be it the arm tackles or be it just out of position. You know what I mean? It really was upsetting because at that point where we started to losing, you start to see, okay, these are the same mistakes and the same lazy moves that we did a year ago. And it was kind of, for however excited we were in the beginning and in the end of the game, the middle game definitely left a lot to be desired because you're sitting back and you're saying, wait a minute, what you looked good early. Are you just falling back into the same old bad habits? What is going on? So that frustrated me. But I mentioned complimentary football. We got to go to the other side. First two drives were beautiful. We are marching down the field, getting Samuel the ball, hitting Gibson out there. You know what I'm saying? Dotson, Logan Thomas back, which is incidentally one of my positives. I'm so glad to see him back.
Yes.
But after the second drive, it's like we kind of stopped completely giving the ball to Curtis Samuel. We stopped, doing kind of the not gimmicky, but a lot of the different maybe misdirection and a lot of the motion that kind of got them off kilter. And we went kind of into more of a generic offense where it was like, wait a minute. Oh, so I thought this was Wednesday's Why Money's Overreaction, bro. Look, hey, you missed the whole positive part we did. Yeah. We just did like 20 minutes of positive stuff. So we got to be truthful here. But honestly, that was something I was very disappointed in Scott Turner. And I was ready to go to the group chat and be, with you and Ab, be like, hey, Will, you were right. Scott Turner is turning it up. Yeah. But it just looked like they kind of fell back into what they had been doing. And especially once the turnover started happening. The fumble, I can get. The first interception, fine. That second one to Trayvon, you kind of, even the first one, you look kind of at Wentz and how his demeanor just kind of sunk. And then the second one, it's just like, and it's like, oh, man. You just hope, my thing was like, I wanted to run on the field. Wait, hey, get out of it. Forget it. Get back in. Because this is what the people have been talking about. He starts to mess up. He starts to get his head. Then the next time he starts to throw hero ball. I love that Turner had confidence in him to get back to him late in the game, but we can't afford that middle part with our defense and the things that, some of the competition we might go up against. We can't afford to have that middle gap. And that was very frustrating to me with Scott Turner and his play calling, man. So talk to me about offense, man. Scott Turner or whatever else.
All that. You hit on all the stuff that I had in my negatives too. So you said it perfectly. It was, that third drive, we were still moving. Mm-hmm. And then Curtis Samuel fumbled the ball and we lost that momentum. And we were getting real close to being in scoring range, or we were in at least field goal range that time. So that took some life out of our sails. And I also, Just like I didn't have Curtis Samuel with the first carry of the season. I certainly didn't have Curtis Samuel with the first fumble of the season either. That happened. But then you're right. Something happened in that play calling where we lost our creativity. Yeah. And we got really, really dull. And we can't have that because, we allowed them to come back. And then we had the doomsday situations. And what I didn't like about the first interception for Carson, first off, he was staring him down the whole time. He was looking left the entire time here. Yep. And the second part, though, is he threw to the wrong guy. Yeah. Jahan Dotson was open, closer, and he had time to catch it and make a turn upfield and either get the first down or get close enough. And he threw it to the deeper receiver, and he definitely didn't put enough on it. Mm-hmm. And so that was bad. That was a bad throw. That's an overall just like this has to be coached up. You can't be doing this. Yeah. Now, the second one, I do think we got to mention it was a pretty darn good play by Walker because he wasn't there in sight, and then he kind of snatched out and got it. So we gotta say that. But at the same time, what I didn't like about it is even when Carson threw it, that was a jumbled mess of players. We had Norwell was right next to him. Leno was off to the left. The center was the offensive line was not ready to be blocking for that. So Gibson, had he even caught it, say the interception doesn't happen, but he catches it, he wouldn't have gotten to get going anyway. Right. So really Carson needed to hold the ball a little bit there longer and let the play develop. And so that was where I was like, man, like you said, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely frustrated me. And going along with that, I think we have to address this. I love that the big play of the game, the play that got us back in, Scary Terry down the sidelines, beautiful pass, perfect. But I cannot overlook the fact that was one of the only times that he's getting involved.
Yeah,
right. And Curtis did great, Curtis Samuel did great, Dotson did great. But in this period that we're talking about, that's when you would want your quarterback to go to McLaurin. Now, first pass that McLaurin catches, he does get that first down. And it's like, okay, all right, start feeding him. But he only had the two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That, we now have a quarterback. Now, maybe we know all the memes in the last couple of years, F it, Terry's down there somewhere. You know what I mean? Poke it front at Heineke and, just that's the only person you got. We have other talent. We get that. And we've talked about multiple times over the summer, there's not enough balls to go around. Samuel was getting he was getting fed a lot. Gibson was getting fed a lot. McKissick got in there. Even Logan Thomas was getting in there. So obviously this was a situation where Terry was more of a decoy, but still you paid a man. He is one of the faces of the franchise. I think you got to make more of an effort to get him the ball, especially going down, into the season, because we want him to be healthy and ready to go by week 4, week 5, week 6, when we're going in here playing a Green Bay, playing a Titans, playing, you know what I mean? Well, not Chicago. We're not worried about them. But they did win. It's
not raining. Right, the rain will equalize it.
Right, yeah. But when we're starting to play against these teams, we are going to have to be able to get him the ball. Either whatever we have to get him the ball. So that's something that I was very frustrated about. But what talk to me, Will? Do you have
my list of negatives?
Yeah.
I mean, we had way more positives, and I think we should. There was a lot of good things out there.
Yeah. So I love it. At the end of the day, we did, and if you didn't see, go back and watch. We did 20 minutes on positives because we got so much. We got absolutely so much, ladies and gentlemen, but we want to go ahead and move on because we got a lot more to go. So be right back.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is. Yeah, buddy. You know who it is. It's your boy Sean Spencer with my guy, Mr. Will Kramer, talking about a Game 1 victory against the we're the Commanders, not the Commander, but against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Plural,
right. And one of the things that we're going to start doing this year is giving out our game balls, ladies and gentlemen, to the best player or players, all one offense, one defense, where we think they did well. I'm going to go ahead and start, and I'm going to start on somebody that I've been super critical about, and that is Antonio Gibson. I have been number one person outside of De'Ami Brown. Antonio Gibson has gotten most of my wrath, and it has to have done with his fumbling. He has had a number of fumbling issues, and Brian Robinson, when he came in preseason, we saw that he was kind of looked like he was taking the load. So obviously, hey, Brian Robinson, get healthy, get well, prayers for you. Obviously, once he went out, Gibson then kind of reassumed at least the lead back as far as getting touches and whatnot. So I was nervous coming into this game, without a doubt. And I'm not going to lie, I absolutely loved how they used him, but I loved more that he didn't listen to people like us. He didn't listen to all those people saying, take him out, replace him. He can't hold on to the ball. He came in, took his opportunity, just like the game that Brian Robinson started in preseason, where we had Gibson out at wide receiver. I think it was against the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. Gibson showed up and showed why he is still a valuable piece of this team. And I think he did that yesterday. We threw it to him multiple times. In fact, 7 times for over 70 yards. And I think that is one of his elite strengths. His hands are something that I think that puts him over the top of some of these other running backs, to where he might not be able to go between the tackles like a Jonathan Taylor or Derrick Henry. This guy has got hands out of the backfield that are definitely legit. And so I have to give him love. Now, he's still got, like you said, he was a bell cow late for us. 14 carries, 58 yards. And even that says something, because, again, no matter how good you do, I've been a running back. So I know that memory sticks with you. So for him to be able to, hey, we're continually running out the ball, running the clock, or getting what we need to get, especially in the second half. Gibson showed up. He did what he needed to do. But most importantly, 0 fumbles. No fumbles. And to be honest with you, there was even some runs that I'm like, dang, Gibson, you've been learning from Robinson? Okay. There was one where he almost broke it, and you could see he got mad. I was like, I haven't seen that. That's not what I saw from you a year ago. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's something I love. So I got to give my first game ball to Mr. Antonio Gibson. Will, who you got, man?
Yeah, I'm going to go to a coach. I'm going to offensive coordinator Scott Turner. All right, because we've said we've got weapons. And yeah, it is. It's early. We got to take these victories when we can, Jared. That's why we got to be so happy for this.
Wait. Hey, Jared, who's your quarterback, Jared? He's a Cowboys fan.
Oh, okay.
Koopa.
It's going to be a long season in Dallas. Sorry, buddy. It's going to be bad.
I think Andy Dalton's backing up somewhere. Do you want to get him from the Saints or something?
Maybe is Dalton with the Saints?
Yeah, I think he's backing up Jameis.
They got to be kicking themselves right now, because Dallas hates Cooper Rush. They're not happy about this.
Yeah. Where's DiNucci?
Not good. But yeah, so Scott Turner, we talked about how he's got all these weapons. He got them involved. That's not easy to do, to spread the wealth out there and to let them be players to be unselfish out there. 7 receivers caught passes, and it should have been an 8th, but John Bates dropped the first down catch. Yep. I don't know what – I mean, Carson had some mustard on it, but he just – that was a play that needed to be made out there, and he didn't. He also was able to, like you mentioned, utilize his playmakers and put them where they could be successful. He was very versatile with Curtis Samuel. I mean, we were sitting here going – oh, so this is why we signed this guy. This is why they didn't listen to Nathan Snell and trade him in the offseason, because he was worried, because he had a little bit of a hiccup in his return back. He was a huge weapon on offense, receiving, running, short plays that allowed him to use his athleticism to get the first down. We had so many times our receivers caught the ball short of the sticks and made jukes and to move the chains.
Yes,
we utilized their athleticism. That also goes with Antonio Gibson, as we said. We didn't just simply say, okay, well, you're not returning kicks, you're going back, you're going to be 20 to 25 handoffs for you. No, they said, we are going to use you to where you can shine. 7 catches, 72 yards. And then he had his handoff. So I really like that. And then finally, when we needed scores, he put the ball in our receivers' hands.
Yep.
We had 4 touchdowns by 4 receivers. All of them caught one. They seem to just love each other right now. I mean, they are buds. It's great. They get excited for each other. So I really liked what we saw in week 1 out of Scott Turner.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yo. And so, hey, with another, we're going to do 2 game balls. My second game ball or game balls, I'm going to split it into 3. I'm giving it to my defense, our defensive line. And I mean Daron Payne, I mean Jonathan Allen, I mean Montez Sweat. Each of them had 3 solo tackles. Okay, not enough. The little bit they do makes the huge difference. 1 sack by Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen. But what we talked about before is the plays they made in the timely fashion. You have 2 deflections by Daron Payne. You have 2 quarterback hits by Montez Sweat. You know what I mean? You got guys that are pushing the pocket, affecting the quarterback, making him run, scramble out, throw off his timing. That makes a difference, especially when you have a weaker secondary. So that's going to help them. Even on that last play where you see Trevor Lawrence had to scramble out to his left. When he's scrambling, he's getting chased down.
Yes,
you know what I mean? He was getting chased. Then he had to just chuck it down the field and see what happens. You know what I mean? So that was caused by the pressure that we provided. So I love that. And I'm look, we have talked about all season about our defense. And even like a week ago, oh man, we wish we had an extra preseason game because this defense needs some work. And everybody knows Chase is out, blah, blah, blah. I love what I'm seeing. Early in the game, Jonathan Allen hopped in there and got a sack. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Early and often, we were moving the pocket and getting them, getting Lawrence flustered. You know what I mean? I love that, and that's something that we needed to see because Jonathan Allen, he's one of the faces of the franchise. Daron Payne, we talked about him being a guy that was chasing the bag, and then Montez Sweat. We mentioned Chase Young earlier. Montez Sweat and him, I talked to you about this. They were chatting all last year, and they came up empty. This year, no conversation. Let's go. Even on the one play where, what's his name? Daron Payne gets a sack late in the game, and you see the camera goes in because on Montez Sweat, who was right there and just missed it. And you looked at him like, I wanted that. You know what I mean? But it was 3 guys at the quarterback. And you want that gentle competition between them like, yeah, that's mine. I want that. Let's go. Let's go. This D-line, if we can build around that, which is what we've been doing. You talked about signing all these D-linemen. Why are you going to sign them all? Because they can play, and they're playing complementary football. I loved what I saw from those guys. So the game ball, going to the D-line, Daron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat. My guys. Let's go.
I liked it. Like you said, when they're all around the quarterback like that, kind of, getting frustrated at themselves that they weren't the ones. I'm hoping we get to the point where they start counting sacks during the game. I got mine, that type of stuff. So they go at each other. My game ball goes to safety, Derek Forrest. All right.
Yeah.
We talked about the pass breakups. We talked about some of his hard hits. But to me, it was the fact he replaced the injured, someone who could be considered our best defensive player, or most important, I should say, not best, most important for what he can do in Cam Curl. So he replaced him because Curl was out injured. He made plays. He made timely plays. The pass breakups, one was in the end zone. He had the interception. It was a lollipop throw, but he went and made the play. I was impressed for 2 reasons. One, because we've been talking all off season how we wanted upgrades at linebackers and safeties. And I said at cutdown day when Anthony Harris got cut by the Eagles, we need a safety. We need to get this guy, because it was more what you heard from the reporters was the pecking order was McCain and Curl are the 2 starters. And then the next guy on the field was Forrest. They didn't say he was impressing out there. They just said he's the next safety on the field.
Yeah.
But he was making some, no kidding. Yeah. But he made some plays. And in fact, so much to win on their defense, we didn't play our 4th or 5th string corners at all. They got 0 snaps on defense. We brought in more safeties. And so this is kind of one of those things where, sometimes you just got to trust the coaches. But more important to me, it's like, could this be an evolution of our draft pick and developing players? Because he got picked in the 4th or 5th round last year. He was hurt a little bit. He was a special teams guy. He took his time. And now in year 2, we're building depth with the player who can be out there. So that was big to see him flash on Sunday. I loved it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So, look, ladies and gentlemen, those are our game balls that we gave out this week. I'm excited to see who we have next week. But one of the things that I think was really exciting is we had a lot of people that we could spot, that we could point out. I mean, I couldn't imagine doing this in previous years where it's like, okay, who do you got? We all got the same person? Okay. My guy's a fan, or my guy's a coach now, because
I know
there's only a couple people that were really dominating. So this is definitely good. Definitely something to work on going in the future.
That's a very nice comment by Jared. We appreciate that. It's kind of you. And you too, Kyle. We're the team. Talk about the team for Kyle.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Appreciate you guys. No doubt about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to move on because we have a game coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Before we do, we got to talk about some of our guys. But real quick, go get some water. Get a quick little break. Dun, 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 dun. Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is. I was nervous that first game. I was shaking in my boots. You can ask my baby cat. I was worried how we were going to do. We started early and it felt good, but we struggled. And I said out loud, here we go again. But oh God, he reminded me that sometimes you have to endure. And then when we came back, woo, when Scary Terry caught it in the stride, when the rookie Jahan Dotson caught his second, how many, Janae? Second touchdown pass. Oh, I said, this is that day. We got the leader. And ladies and gentlemen, we're taking the division. Washington will be the 2022 NFC East champs. Does that make me crazy?
That make me crazy.
Let's go. Overreaction Monday with the full extreme. Let's go.
Dude, how hyped were you on Monday night to be talking to her?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, look, the simple fact that we were able to get back together with everything that's going on. Shout out to Janae and her wife on their new baby girl, future commander.
Oh, yeah.
Putting in that work now. Let's go. But besides the fact of being able to be back with her, the pair that started this whole thing.
Yep.
I love talking to her year after year after year. You got to remember, we've done this 5-6 years. Yeah. And think about those years, the end of the Kurt reign and, the Josh Johnson and,
the Alex Smith year that we collapsed.
Right. The Alex Smith. All these years, I've had to deal with it. I've had to wear what's his name? Des Bryant jersey because we lost to Dallas. But I've seen us, quote McCoy, get that crazy victory where we knocked out Romo. So I've seen positives, but it's really been a whole lot of negatives. So to go in there on Monday and just see the excitement, and then they only put up 3 against Tampa. 3.
It was a rough debut.
It was beautiful. Absolutely. It couldn't have been any better. But let's move on because we had a number of guys that had debut performances and this week. And look, some of these guys, they balled out. Absolutely. Let's start with the head, man.
Yeah.
Quarterback, over 300 yards. Carson Wentz, 4 TDs. And he looked good. Yes, obviously we know about the interceptions and some of those moments looked a little iffy, but when it counted, we started fresh. We started hot. And where did we end? We ended fresh. We ended hot, and we looked together. We looked motivated. We looked like a well-oiled machine in those parts of the game. Talk to me about Carson. I mean, and he's done, if I'm not mistaken, he's done what no other quarterback in a debut has done.
What's that?
300 yards and 4 TDs.
Yeah. Putting up some stats. So ESPN, I think their article the next day, I think it was ESPN, was "Welcome to the Carson Wentz experience."
Let's go.
And that's what that game was. You get the highs, you get the lows, and then you get the comeback, attempts, and it worked out in our favor. It was wild. I mean, it was a wild debut. He started off hot. He made some throws out there that got us excited. He led the offense down to 2 scores. Then we hit the lull, and then he had the bad parts, and he brought us back. what I feel about him, and this is what we've been talking about the whole time. We knew this was not going to be like, oh, he comes to Washington and becomes this MVP caliber quarterback.
Yeah.
But he makes us competitive in a way that we have not had here ever.
Yep.
Okay? Yep. Since I can remember Mark Rippon slinging it in 91. Okay? Because even Kirk Cousins was a very calculated quarterback out there. Yep. He put up a lot of yards. I mean, Kirk and Jay together with those receivers really did put up a lot of yards out there. But Kirk was careful where he took his shots. Yeah. And Carson is willing to throw the ball more. He's willing to push it. He's willing to throw it on third and just don't throw an interception. And he throws it in the end zone, to win the game type thing. You said it great when you talked about his confidence out there. When we needed a play, it was third down. He was strong in the pocket on a blitz. He climbed it. He zipped it to Logan Thomas for a big first down play of over 20 yards. Mm-hmm. The very next play, the bomb to Terry. Okay. Yeah. And that was a third down. That was where our backs were starting to get against the wall. He had the confidence in himself. In fact, after that second interception, Ron walked up to me and said, okay, you're going to need to win the game for us. And he, and he did. Yeah. There is some consistencies we got to work on. That throw that you made. There were open receivers out there that he overthrew. He might have been a little bit too excited. For me, I looked at some of the easy plays to be made that needed to be made. Late in the third quarter, we had a really nice run by a Gibson, I believe. It was 2nd and 2. The very next play was a throw, and he threw the ball into the feet of the receiver. Mm-hmm. It's like, and then we had third down, and that play didn't happen. It's like, whoa, this receiver was wide open. How did you throw this into, how did you not convert that play? So it was a wild debut, but ultimately, like I said, he makes us competitive and he gives us a chance in there. And that's what we need. That's what we're asking for.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And another person that made a debut in an amazing one is our rookie out of Penn State, Jahan Dotson. And let me tell you, to start off a career the way that he did, not only to catch an early touchdown in the first half, but to catch the game winner and in the fashion that he did. Jahan, look, he only had 3 catches. You know what I mean? He only had a couple, but each one of them was an impactful catch. Right. I mean, look, we saw the direction of the offense. We talked about Carson, talked about Curtis Samuel getting a lot of touches, the running backs getting a lot of touches. But to see the rookie get in there in critical moments where they trust him enough to go to him, especially at that last play. I mean, look, that was a contested ball. That corner was all over him from every angle that I got to see. But Jahan Dotson made a play. I will not be denied, went up there, caught the TD. And, I mean, you would talk about a debut. We've had a lot of studs. We've had, Chase Young. We've seen we're still waiting for Jamin Davis to get his first big play that we've been, you know what I mean? From his rookie year. Dotson did it right away, and when it was needed, that tells me I can depend on you. That tells me you're ready. The lights aren't too bright for you.
No.
Hey, Jahan, each time I see him play, I just get more and more excited about how he's doing. And it's funny because I go back and look at both of us on draft night, and we were just like, oh, how we couldn't get
We're not impressed.
This guy. But, we are thoroughly impressed now. Keep doing what you do, young man. But, yeah, Jahan, man, I mean, you talk about a debut. This is what we needed. I don't know if we can say with all good faith that we expected it because of what we have seen and the last Dotson we had. But this is definitely something I'm very, very excited about. Who else made a debut, Will?
Curtis Samuel.
Ooh, yeah.
1 year later. Now, he did play in a game against the Falcons last year, but he was coming back from an injury, and he got hurt in that game too.
Yeah.
So, he really did. We didn't see the real Curtis Samuel last year, and we didn't see much of Curtis Samuel at all. And we really saw this weapon that the coaches saw and why they were trying so hard to bring him back last year. And not let him just lose the whole season. And then this offseason, they were being so careful with his workload so that he'd be ready because, man, did he make a difference out there. You called it best. He's a poor man's Deebo Samuel out there for us and what they have him doing. And it's a huge weapon for us out there. And it's great to have it. I think his role's only going to expand, or it's just going to continue to be this, well, who are you going to cover? Are you going to get which one of those three receivers are you going to cover? So it was wonderful to have him back, and he was way more of a weapon than I thought he was going to be.
Oh, absolutely. And they did it from the beginning, and that was beautiful. That definitely was beautiful. Unfortunately, some of the debut performances, they didn't last that long. Our second pick, Phidarian Mathis, the rookie D tackle out of Alabama, lasted 2 plays, Will?
Something like that. I think it was the first drive.
And then very early, he was carted off the field. He is out for the season. Will, what's the prognosis? What's the diagnosis?
Torn meniscus. Surgery's coming. So, it stinks for that guy. We thought Fitzpatrick had a short debut for us.
Come on now.
Mathis didn't make it out of the first drive of the game, and we kicked the ball off.
Yeah.
So, that was the very first drive of the season, and he gets hurt. So that sucks. And it was a fluke play. Guy lands on his leg, bends his knee awkwardly, and that happens. But you think about what they were trying to build on defense. Ron said that Allen and Payne had to play more snaps than they need to out there because of the injury. So we went out and got a guy named Donovan Jeter to come in here. And I've never heard of the guy before, so I have no idea who we signed, except that I heard that they call him, he's a stout guy. He's 325 pounds. So they wanted some beef in there, basically, to go up next to Payne and Allen. So it sucks to not give this kid a chance to to come up and play. So we'll just have to wait for him next year.
Yeah. We shall definitely.
Which also means, how are we going to evaluate what do you do with Payne? Because the whole thought we said, well, we drafted his replacement. Well, now you can't, and you don't know when he's going to come back out with the strength on that knee. You don't know.
Right. And so then, that's a huge question now, because now it's like, all right, well, we don't have anything to go against it with. You know what I mean? We don't have the other guy to look. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But prayers to you, Phidarian Mathis. Hopefully you can get back and get healthy next year. Take time, do what you got to do. And it stinks, and it's eager. Like you said, I'm eager to see what happens, because you said they got Donovan Jeter, but, I wonder if that's the only move they're going to make. You know what I mean? Phidarian Mathis, at least through preseason, looked like he had that quick twitch, that ability that, we were kind of looking for to kind of help out. Come in after, Daron Payne or Jonathan Allen gets a breather, he come in and the level doesn't drop off too much. Now you're trying to bring in other people, and it's like, well, you can't just bring in anybody. Right. You know what I mean? So we shall see. But to that point, if we're going to bring somebody on defense, what we did do on O-line is we did bring people. We brought in Norwell. We brought in Turner. Well, how did they do in the first game? I said, they only gave up the 1 sack, but in the running game overall, how did things go?
I would say maybe so. I think it's important, like you mentioned, with their pass protection, they did a pretty good job. You didn't really notice them too much, but you also didn't see them in good things either. But that also may be that these two players, we got rid of 2 guys in Eric Flowers and Brandon Sheriff that could pancake their opponent. Mm-hmm. They were bigger, mauler guys, and we brought in smaller, more athletic linemen. So you may not see as many offensive lineman highlight plays as you can have out there from them, but I don't think it was terrible. Turner actually did not start, but Wes Schweitzer got hurt. He hurt his hamstring, and he's not practicing right now. So looks like Turner has been elevated and will play. And it wasn't the greatest debut for them, but it was. I would say it was solid. They just, like you said, they just weren't really noticed out there. Yeah.
Which, to be honest, could be positive or negative, because
it's not a bad thing.
Right. Because if
you're not making bad plays that we notice,
right? If they're not, they're not throwing flags on you every 2 seconds. That that's not the way you want to get noticed. So and look, and the best compliment to them might be, the O-line in a whole, only giving up the 1 sack, only, really, kind of bend, talk about bend but don't break. They really weren't letting people get to Carson enough to where he is throwing off passes. He had time to throw the deep balls and to connect late in the game. So they were doing their job. Hey, we'll see. It's a work in progress. It's a long season, like Jared said. So we will definitely see how it pans out. Hey, we got a couple guys. They had their debut. Now we got a game under your belt. Let's see where it goes. Let's see where it goes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming close to the end, and we're gonna hit you really quickly with actually we're gonna throw you a commercial. Our guy, Mr. Anton Benton, celebrated a birthday on Monday. Oh. Yeah, Mr. Moral Support turns 37, 36. I think he's a year under us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're in high school. He's always a year younger. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So his birthday was Monday, and my guy is a handyman. He moves and grooves. He travels. He can fix anything. Just check this out real quick. We'll be right back.
Hey there, ladies and gents. Your local handyman, Anton Benton, here to help you with your problems. I'm here right now on the job site, taking out whole kitchen cabinets. A little bit more work to do, but if you got a project at your house that you need to get completed, I'm your guy to finish it up for you. Give me a call, let me know what you need to get done.
Your new company, man. Shout out to your new company. Go ahead and tell the world about your new company real quick.
Oh boy. So marketing Anton Benton Pros.
Yes.
Doing everything from plumbing to electrical to making huge decks to doing closets.
Yes.
Doing it all.
That's what's up, man. I'm super happy
for you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm ready to see that kitchen, man.
Yeah.
I want to see how he finished that up.
Oh, it looks nice. Yeah, that is an older video. He's actually finished up. Actually, Anton, man, get at me after the show, man, because I got to send out the new pictures. I got to update the video and everything because he's finished it. He did a backyard. He put up a jungle gym set in the backyard. Yeah. Oh, yeah. From scratch. Just they brought him over and they said, here are the directions. Here's what you need. Go ahead and do it. And he knocked it out. Put a fence in the whole back, the whole nine. He'll travel. We'll talk. Yeah. No, yeah, he does. He traveled. When I think one of those, he went to Denver to do it. And there's one show. Remember last year we did a show. I think it was Ab's birthday. Yeah. We did a show with Ab, and remember he was like in Seattle. Yeah, he was doing work. Yes. in Seattle doing that stuff. So he will travel. He will do it. He's trying to get it off the ground, kind of similar to what we're all trying to do. So shout out to my guy. I'll definitely put y'all in touch with him, you too, because he definitely travels and hey, he does good work. He absolutely does good work. Ladies and gentlemen, we're close to the end, but we have to preview this coming game. Game 2, Washington Commanders versus the Detroit Lions. And I will be attending this game with Catherine, decked out in that burgundy and the gold. I don't expect to get any kind of backlash. I don't think they're really worried about us. So this might be a fun game. Mm-hmm. And I'm also excited to see, we all know that the most expensive beer in the whole entire league is at FedEx. You know where the cheapest beer is? Detroit.
Really? Okay.
$5.
That's bar prices right there. Right? There you go.
Right? They're trying to give their fans some help. So we're gonna, we'll see how that goes. I'm excited. Never been to Ford Field. I've been on the outside of it, but I've never been to it. So I'm super excited. I'm gonna go also to the big house. I talked to you about that, and going to see some high school football. So high school, college, and pros. Might as well be a birthday weekend. Yes. Let's go. But hey, week 1, we know what happened with us. Detroit played a division rival, started off early, scored early, ended up being down 24-10 at the half, got down major. I think it was 38 to about 21 midway through the game. And then, Detroit ended up coming back late, Will, what did you see in this game that maybe we can attack, or like, what are your thoughts on them? I know how people have been kind of saying Detroit's a sleeper, but like, what do you see from them?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. So first off, I did not watch Hard Knocks this year, so I know there's a lot of Detroit love from it. I'm not a big Dan Campbell fan. I'm not into his rah shtick.
Not into biting kneecaps and
right?
ankles.
No, that's not me. I like the intellectual folks.
Yeah,
I like the
Sean
McVays out there where they show how they beat what you did and why they did it.
Right.
So he's not my cup of tea. And so I kind of wonder when people talk about this like up and coming Detroit, because I look at the roster, I'm like, well, it's getting better, but where is this coming from? But they do have some weapons out there. All right. They have made a concerted effort to upgrade their offensive line, and they have two stout tackles at left tackle and right tackle, Decker and Sewell. They've got a good center. Now, I do believe Ragnow might have missed practice this week, so that could be a factor there. So they've got some line help. Jared Goff is not, he's not a mobile quarterback, but if you give him time, he can beat you. So we got to make sure we're going to get a little bit of pressure on there. They've got two receivers that can kind of scare you. DJ Chark they brought in from Jacksonville. He seems to be one of their featured receivers that they like. And then St. Brown, actually he's on my fantasy teams in one of my big leagues. So I like when he gets the ball there.
Obviously, yeah.
He was their lead receiver last week. So we got to watch him. He was their leading receiver last year.
Yeah.
Their offense seems to run through their running backs, though.
Yeah.
And last week they had a lot of yards on offense, and DeAndre Swift had a lot of those yards on the ground. That's kind of where, I was looking back, and Goff only had 215 passing yards.
Right.
You score 35 points and only throw for just over 200 yards. Where is this coming from? But the line was doing pretty good. I mean, the running game was going pretty good. Swift is a weapon out there.
Yeah.
So we got to be prepared for that. And then we got to look at that defensive line. Kate, she's gonna like hearing this. They've got this the guy they drafted second overall who looks to be pretty good. So I do believe Mr. Leno is gonna have his work cut out for him. On the other side, they've got Charles Harris, who was a high pick for the Falcons, I believe, out of Missouri. So they've got some defensive line players, but there are some areas that we're going to be able to exploit a little bit. So that's kind of a little preview of them. What do you see before I get into my head? This is where I want to kind of go after them and stuff. What do you think about Detroit?
Well, I mean, where I started. I started running back all day, every day. And, I mean, they got two guys. Everybody jumps on Swift, and we know how good he is. I mean, almost 150 on the ground. You know what I mean? But let's not sleep on that backup they got who had 2 touchdowns, Jamal Williams, a guy from Green Bay. Like, you could play, and he is by far the energy of that team. They love him. They gravitate to him, and he is super passionate, my type of dude. So he can ball out, and he is definitely huge, not only in the run game, but he, gets a little action in the receiver. You know what I'm saying? Catches some passes. And Swift is just all world. We know that. And that, I mean, again, not to get too far in, but we're going to have to neutralize that. For me, Goff has to beat me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I've gotten into this with Nate, like who got the better end of the deal in that trade with the Lions and the Rams. And obviously the Rams won the Super Bowl. So I'm kind of like, we see who got the better end. But he's like, no, he's like Goff. So I mean, we'll see what he does. But the thing about Goff that even when he was with the Rams with stacked teams, he was still one of those guys that you're like, you have so many weapons, but I still don't really trust him.
No,
I still don't really, know what he's bringing to the table. We know he can go. We've seen what he did a year ago in the opening game when he brought them back, but at the same time, you had them down. And in this game, they were down at one point, 38 to 14, 38 to 21. Yeah. So there's a good portion of the game where you're struggling. And 215, I mean, hey, maybe that defense is great, but the Eagles defense only sacked them one time. So, you know what I mean? What are you not doing, or what's going on? So I didn't dive into that one. Obviously I was 100 into ours, that all that energy went to the ups and downs on ours. But from what I've seen from Goff, man, I'm not impressed, but he can still play. and he's not somebody to be slept upon.
Right.
Because of the fact that, like you said, St. Brown as wide receiver, Chark, Swift, Williams, they've got weapons, they've got a line, and this we know how we go back and forth with Detroit. Each time we play them, it's always a great game. For a while, we had their number when they came into town. But us going to Detroit, who knows? It'll be a different story.
I think I saw it. We've lost 5 of 6 to Detroit.
Recently?
Yeah. And the time that the one win was when Jeff Driscoll was their quarterback. We beat him at FedEx.
I was there.
That was weak.
Oh, my goodness. I was there in that game. I think our starter was Dwayne.
It was. Yeah. For sure.
Because
that was his first win.
Yeah, yes.
When he was taking selfies with the crowd and missed the kneel down.
Yes, that was the game. Okay, we went to that game, and I want to take all together. I took 8 people, and we sat in row 117, and we paid all together. I believe I paid $60.
What?
All together, all the tickets, and we sat close, and there was still seats in front of us. That you got to remember, that's the year where we were what?
We were
2-8.
We started 0-4. Yeah,
right. We were terrible that year. Those tickets were literally $5.
Wow,
I'm not lying to you. Like you could have sat goal line or 50-yard line or a front row right behind the cheerleaders and all. Or when we had cheerleaders, you could have sat there for like $20. You know what I mean? It was crazy because that was a game I took Cat to, and we're at that point it was field goals late, and I was like, oh, we're losing. Oh, you guys are gonna win. And she was like, nope, you guys. And it was just like back and forth. We just kept saying, you're gonna win. No, you're gonna win. Like that. We were both really rough that year. So look, Detroit recently has definitely potentially they have our number or whatnot. But new year. New identity. Let's see what we can bring. Let's challenge that defense. As you saw, Philly put up 38 on them. Yeah. And that says something. I'm still not 100% sold on Philly's offense, but let's see what we can do with this, man.
Right. Philly really ran on them too. I mean, they got over 200 yards rushing, which Philly was the number 1 rushing team last year. So you got to also recognize that. But they put up some yards on Detroit's defense. They ran on them. A.J. Brown gashed them. So you're right. They put up a lot.
Right. So, yeah. So we know, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to figure something out. And we are going to. You don't have it? No,
I don't have them. Do you have yours?
I got mine. Okay. I got him. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what portion of the show it is. The key to victory.
I love it. I do.
We are going to give you our keys to victory. What we think Washington needs to do to secure win number 2 against the Detroit Lions. Will, I'm going to go first. Mm-hmm. My keys to victory, simple, to the point. Number 1, nothing gets behind us. We know they have threats in the running game, threats from their running backs in the passing game, as well as their wide receivers and TJ Hawkinson, one of the best tight ends in the league. We need to make sure that we are keeping everything in front of us. And if that means we got to bring nickels and corners and safeties down to cover the linebackers and the running backs, so be it. Because if we get gassed, if they run a wheel route, if they want to screen and it's them against one of our linebackers, I don't feel confident right now that our linebackers are going to be able to keep pace, especially not with Swift. Right. He's a baller. That's my first key to victory. Second, we have to have dedication to the run. I loved what we did a week ago where it's not the conventional running style. We're not I-form wham, I-form cross buck counter. We're doing, hey, get them out on the edge and let's get around the corner. Get them out, on a draw. Get them on a screen. Get them where you got guys, you're opening up the field and then you're actually moving. Do some misdirection and multiple people, not just one guy running the ball. That's a lot of problem I think Gibson had when it's just him. He's the bell cow. That wasn't his forte. You need to bring Samuel in there like we did last game. We need to bring McKissick, give him a couple touches. Gibson, give him a couple touches. Give a bunch of these guys a couple touches. So one, they're not tired. B, they're fresh, they're ready. Hey, and C, that'll keep the defense honest. If you got to have those linebackers and those safeties, those guys cheat up, that's how you're able to go over the top on them, which we've proved we can do. So, Will, what are your keys to victory this week?
Yeah, so my first one is going to be, we keep saying the guys' names. I'm focusing on our run defense. We need to contain DeAndre Swift. So he didn't practice today. He's out with an ankle injury. So we'll see how that progresses or how that impacts him on Sunday. But he is a home run threat. And as you mentioned earlier, the defense on Sunday did get gashed at times. And so we need to shore that up. I'm hoping that with Cam Curl back, that will allow Holcomb and Davis to focus a little bit more on the run there, filling holes, but also our safeties in there. We can't have Bobby McCain walking in there to make a play and getting scared and not lowering into somebody, making a play. We've got to have them fill in those holes, okay? That's my first one. Okay. Second one is the defensive matchups, okay? I saw on Sunday where Jamin Davis was covering Travis Etienne. And so did Jacksonville. Yeah. And they threw it to him, and he got a big play. All right. I'm hoping with Cam Curl back, that's going to allow us to basically play Curl and Forrest in those situations because their offense goes through Chark, Hawk, and then St. Brown. Yep. So we need to be checking those guys. You have Fuller going against DJ Chark. We need Curl and Forrest to be checking Hawkinson, maybe a little bit of Jamin here and there since he can run, but we can't expose ourselves the way we did. We got to be on top of those guys. Yeah. I've got one more, but do you have anything else before I do my last one?
Curtis Samuel, the focus in on a player. Yeah. Get him going early and often. I honestly think having that fast start that we had a week ago kind of was it helped us sustain through that time where we had the 3 turnovers and they came back and took lead. Keep utilizing this piece. Look, he's got a year's worth of time that he has been sitting and he's been getting healthy. Let's go ahead and let him work all that time. And while we're able to get Logan healthy, kind of help Logan Thomas healthier, because while he did great out there, he still looked kind of slow or, I don't want to say gimpy, but he didn't look like himself, like that same quickness.
Still recovering.
Right. But he was still able to make the plays. But I think that is going to open up the offense. Continue to get Samuel moving in motion and keep getting him the ball, because what's that ended up doing in the second half, you notice once they started going back to that motion, then all of a sudden you have a linebacker, you have a safety that's focusing on Samuel potentially going out in the out in the flat. And then that's opening something for Thomas, who can come in behind, or Dotson or McLaurin. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. You saw what happened last week. Get Samuels going early, because that has proved to be a big, big thing for us. So
So we're kind of on the same page here. Yeah, my third key is going to be challenge their defense and challenge their corners. Use our weapons on offense. A.J. Brown torched them for 155 yards. Goddard had 60 yards. And then that was basically it for Philly. They really only had 2 guys that they focused on. And I think we've got some weapons out there that we can confuse Detroit. Who's going to make this play today? So, not that impressed with their DB depth. So let's go after them. All right. Let's go through the air with it.
Yeah, let's take the top off that defense. And one thing we did not talk about, and I think you and I kind of talked about it, we went deep early, and I think that made those safeties and corners scoot back a little bit. You know what I mean? We let them know that we can go deep on you, and that's something that I don't think people had that threat a year ago. Right. You know what I mean? They didn't think. No. Well, right. So they didn't think that was possible, but now you have that threat, and with time, Carson can definitely take the top off. So let's do that. Take that shot early, even if it's incompletion.
Set the tone.
Exactly. Let them know, okay, wake up. You can't go to sleep, because we're going to keep throwing it. Yeah. So, that's where I'm at, man. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, we are excited. We hope you are excited, okay?
We got score predictions, right?
Oh yeah, good call.
Yeah, including what we think about that line that they have out there. So the line is Detroit by 1.5 right now.
Oh,
They're picking Detroit here. So and then what they're saying about 48, 49 points total. So they're thinking we're going to put up some points. Both teams are going to put up some points. What do you think?
What was it? 38-35 in this one. I'm going 34-24 Washington.
Okay.
Washington. Now I should go back and be a little superstitious and pick against us, because when I picked against us the first time we won. But I'm going to try to go on the analysis and just say, hey, we're going to win this one. No superstition. Put it out the window. What you got, man?
Yeah, I think there's going to be some points scored here. I'm going to go 30-23 Washington. I think it's going to be the same situation where the opponent at the end of the game, I think it may take 4 quarters, but the opponent at the game is going to have to score a touchdown on us, and they're not going to.
Oh yeah. I like that.
Let's go 2-0, man. Let's go 2-0.
Let's do that. Oh, I could dig that. And look, this is only beneficial for us because we go into this one, then we get 2 divisional and 2 rematch games, one against Philly and one against Dallas.
Yeah.
No quarterback, Dallas.
Right.
So
and I mean, next week's game, we don't want to look too far ahead, but I mean, it's at home and it's against his old team. Like, I mean, that's going to be exciting.
Talk about revenge games.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? I mean, he had it in the week 1. Now we're going to potentially get it again. Let's see what happens. Look, we're excited. There's reason for optimism. There's reason for us to be this way, but we're always going to give it to you straight, ladies and gentlemen. And we believe the way things are shaping up, the way that we played, if we're able to continue to play this and play a full game, because I think you can agree we played the first half. And then third quarter, probably actually, matter of fact, I won't even say that mid to end of second quarter through the third quarter, we kind of fell asleep and then came back in the fourth. So we got to play a full game, got to play complimentary football. And, hey, bring that energy. And, hey, I'll be there, guys. So if you need help, look.
Yeah.
Hey,
that means we can't talk during the game then.
Look, I'll be on my phone.
Okay.
I'm here.
Yeah.
And then look, if you see somebody, get carried away, then you're like, hey, Will, I took one for the team.
Yeah,
they were talking about us. But ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you guys being here with us. We appreciate you taking a minute on your Wednesday night to join us and talk a little football, Washington fan or fan of another team. We appreciate you taking that time with us, man. So, hey, Will, here it is, man. We're done. Up. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, we're done. I'm not going to keep you here any longer. I am Sean Spencer. This is my guy, Mr. Will Kramer. And before we let you go, I'm going to play this towards the end. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a boatload of shows, one on every day of the week with the exception of Friday. And that's when our buddy, Mr. Andrew Faubert, first, as you guys always see.
Yes.
He has his show, North Sports Dynasty, where he focuses on the Buccaneers, then goes in the NFL, then talks about fantasy and talks about betting. He's got a little bit of everything. And the energy, you think I got energy? My man's got energy for days.
He does.
So absolutely love it. We're doing some things here. But, definitely take a look at this video, man. We got shows for everybody. We got college. We got pro. We got a women's show. We got the round table. We talk about it. Washington specific, NFC South specific. We're growing. We're making things happen, man. So as long as you keep tuning in, we'll keep making this for you, man. So
let's talk football family, man. It keeps growing.
Hey, there it is. When I got good people like this guy, that keep me going, hey, that's all we need, man. So look, we're out of here, man. Washington Football Weekly. Be back with you next week. Have a good week. Go Washington. Let's go.
Right. Go Durs.
Get it. Go Durs. Yeah.
That's right. All right, man. Hey, I've been waiting a couple days to say this. We're back. We're back.